And I was very privileged at one stage in my career to be able to spend about 18 months with an international aid organisation called Trócaire. Many of you may know it here in Ireland and abroad. And one of the best experiences I had, just in terms of multiculturalism and indeed racism and some of the issues that have to be dealt with, was spending some time in Africa, in Kenya, in Nairobi. We were running a programme over there. Just post 2007 elections, there was a lot of violence in Kenya, in Nairobi. And I was in a very privileged position of being able to spend about a couple of months in Kibera, which is a very big slum in Kenya with about 1.2 million people recorded living in it, probably about 1.8 million overall. But one of the greatest experiences that I had and the learnings of that whole process was there was a lot of violence going on within various different tribes in the centre. But the two biggest learnings I took away from that process, we were trying to facilitate the various different communities to work together and respect the various traditions of each community. And I came away with two learnings that I still have with me to this day, particularly in my current role. And one was actually the need to have a relentless focus on activity to consolidate and integrate communities. It's no good just going in and doing one set of initiatives. It has to be a relentless process of engagement across the community. So a number of key processes to be put in place. And the second truly inspirational one I came away with was just really valuing our democratic process that we have in the developed world, because sometimes we might take it for granted, and we have another democratic process later this week. But it's only when you see the turmoil and the strife in some of the communities across the world that you really come away with a real value and respect for the engagement and the communities that we have in the democratic process. So that were my two biggest learnings come away from, which I really bring with me into my current role. And just a few words about Fingal. The Mayor touched on some of it. We do have what I believe is some of the best attributes as we move out of economic recession and into growth. I've said this all over the place, but we do have the youngest, fastest growing, most highly educated and most diverse population anywhere in Ireland. And that's exactly what you would want as we start to move out of recession. And I don't want to make it an economic conference, but it is an important backdrop. And all of the economic indicators that we're seeing at national level and at Dublin level and at Fingal level say to us we're beginning to emerge out positively. If I take it at Dublin level, all of the true economic indicators are up. Transport levels across all levels of transport are up. Retail properties, the vacancy rates of retail properties have hugely reduced. Business properties, rental is up and vacancy rates are down. Positively, retail sentiment is up 68%, the highest percentage of consumer sentiment that we've had in over 12 years, coming off a lower base, but really positive indicators. In Fingal, we're beginning to see some of the emergence of that. Our planning permissions are up 27% year on last year. We now have 36 active residential construction sites across Fingal. 2 years ago, we had 3. Okay? And I just say that because that's important to know in terms of the backdrop as we head into what's important for us now in the next phase for Fingal, and particularly in terms of working with many communities. And we're not coming off a low base, and the Mayor touched on some of the work done by Anne-Marie Farley and the whole community department. There's been some really good initiatives, which I come back to my point about being relentless in the communities, having specific projects and processes in place. Across the county, we have a number of really good ones. The Fingal Ethnic Network, which is now 10 years old, has over 70 nationally recognised engaged communities in the process. And I believe it was truly inspirational and innovative by the people in Fingal to set up that. Across Balbriggan, we've spent some time indeed with the Minister just a while there, fantastic initiatives working across it. In Dublin 15, and the Mayor has touched on them. Just recently, the Cardiff Integration Project with ITB conducted a fantastic research about all communities and how some of the issues coming out in terms of integration, and that's one that we will bring into our thinking on that overall. So for me, the timing is good for this conference. We're heading into now a new strategy, a new vision for Fingal, and all aspects of that are really important in terms of the outputs of this conference. Because I believe I have to be, all of my team, all of the management in Fingal, all of the staff in Fingal, all of the elected members in Fingal, we have to be the real ambassadors for a new society. We have to really embrace every opportunity we have. We're currently developing a new development plan for the next year for a vision for the county 2017 to 2023. Diverse integration communities has to be key in the outputs of that development plan. We're currently developing a local economic and community plan, as the Mayor touched on just there. So all of our thoughts about further attracting in foreign direct investment, all of our thoughts about further supporting Irish Indigenous industry, all of our thoughts about our local enterprise office and how we support startups and young entrepreneurs, all of that diversity has to be a core element of it. Our housing strategy, government recently launched new housing strategy and new social housing strategy, and Construction 2020 to stimulate construction in the private sector. Diversity, integrated communities has to be core to what we're doing in terms of that. Our sports, our community, our arts department, all of it, diversity has to be a core element of it. So while I believe we're coming off a strong base, and we're coming off a very proud base of integration, we are at a point where we're looking forward now. And I think the one strong aspect of today's conference is the engagement process. A number of speakers here this morning, and we're very glad to have everybody. But a very core part of it are the workshops, and I know you've all registered for the workshops. We need to be further informed for the next stage of the strategy of Fingal. What are the really important issues for you in the community, working across all diverse communities? So we really encourage you to engage strongly in those workshops, feedback to us. I think the Minister said at a recent engagement we had in Balbriggan, it's about the difficult conversations as well. We want to value what we do, we want to be proud of what we do in our communities, but we want to have the difficult conversations. What is it that's working? What is that it's not working? What are some of the education issues? How do we build those into the local authority, what we can do? So in my judgment, in my view, local authorities in the future have the real opportunity to make a big difference in terms of communities. We'll take our direction, we'll take our steer from national government policy, but we're the organisation, we are the bodies that can make a difference. So we really value what you're doing with us today. We're really encouraged by the strong attendance and registration for it. My final point, if I just want to close, because I really wanted to move into our invited speakers, is just to, in advance, thank the Mayor. This is the Mayor's conference, and the Mayor has been absolutely instrumental in both the design of the conference, particularly the focus on the engagement process in the conference, specifically the teams that have been involved in the conference. And it's not a goodbye speech to the Mayor, because the Mayor is still well in term. But what I do want to say is the Mayor, Councillor Mags Murray, has been truly inspirational for us in the Executive, truly inspirational for us in management, truly inspirational for us in staff about the value of communities, the value of what we and our role is working with communities, and the value of us getting into the communities and working with the communities and supporting the communities. She has been a fantastic ambassador for change, a fantastic ambassador for the communities, and I think we're all really proud and privileged that she's facilitating today's conference. Thank you, Mayor, and best of luck.